Hello, hello, and welcome to the first episode of the Squared Mat Podcast. I am the host. I am your host. This is my first time doing this. I'm nervous, but let's get to it. First time I'm doing a review of Monday Night Raw. To say the least, Monday Night Raw wasn't that bad tonight. It wasn't. It wasn't. There were some bad episodes here and there. Last week, it wasn't that good, in my personal opinion. But to be honest, I think tonight was a pretty decent show. But enough about talking about it. Let's get into it. The show starts out for Monday Night Raw tonight. It starts out with Brock Lesnar coming out. Well, actually, I think because I didn't take any notes for the first time. I'll do better about that. But I think they did a hype package of what happened with between Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar last week. Excuse me. So the show starts out after that hype package. Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman come out to the ring. You got commentary saying that Brock's pissed, or so to say, embarrassed, to say the least. So Paul Heyman gets into the ring. He talks in the mic, and he goes on to mention how not many people have claimed that no one has beaten Lesnar at WrestleMania. I think it was WrestleMania. I think that's what he was saying, but which still doesn't make any sense. Heyman hyped up Lesnar though, referencing last week's beatdown of 5, 10, 15, 20 men before with Rollins's group of Ninja Turtles out there in the middle of the ring. But before Oba Femi's interference, or to say the least, accepting the open challenge, as they say constantly. Paul Heyman claimed that no one has beaten Lesnar since the Undertaker streak, calling Femi, uh, telling Femi that his peak moment will be putting his foot on Brock's chest, like of what he did last week. He mentions how Brock has beaten the Undertaker, Goldberg, Dean Ambrose, which was such a weird choice, but it got a reaction in Boston, but whatever. The thing is, when it comes to stuff like that, it's funny because I remember it was Goldberg that beat Brock because they never count for their first official match back on WrestleMania 20, but we don't talk about that. But after the promo was done, Oba Femi comes out, massive chants. The crowd tried doing the Oba Oba. Well, they did do the Oba thing, but the oh or whatever the fuck. Um, yeah, that failed. But he came out. They had to stare down, and then Brock instantly tries to go for an F5. Oba countered, threw him to the rope, and did a huge clothesline, throwing him out of the ring. Lesnar backed away, and that ended the segment. He walked back up to the ring, and that was it. Honestly, the promo was all right with Heyman. It was all right. I have been noticing a lot with Heyman recently that he likes to say stuff. He likes to drag on a promo, because like later on in the show tonight, I'm gonna mention how Heyman was constantly on the show tonight, which I get it. He has a lot of he's a part of Oba now, the Vision, Rollins. I get it, but my God, it was a very Heyman heavy show tonight. Either you like it or you don't. Up to you. Personally, I like Heyman. I do. I like Heyman. It's just that the man just feels there's no tension really. There isn't because he's doing too much right now. But even then, when it was still with just division before Rollins got injured all those months ago, it still felt the same. He just dragged on a promo with no substance. He just kept on spouting words to hope to get a small reaction. That's just my view of it. Moving on. So it went to commercial after that, which my God, there was a lot of commercials. Way too many, especially for the matches. Oh my God. But I don't know. I just noticed that a lot of matches is always like they do an entrance, the match goes on for 30 seconds, and then go right. They go right to commercial, and it goes on for 3 minutes, and then meant the match goes on for like 3 minutes, and then it's over. It is crazy, but hold on, I'm trying to. I don't understand it. There we go. I don't know why I was doing that, but whatever. So there we go. Okay, I'm actually. It's still jumbled. Still jumbled. I'm not editing the whole thing. I'm not. This is gonna be true, true to the word of a first episode. That way, I can actually learn better of myself when it comes to making more episodes. So after the opening segment with Brock and Oba, they do a hype package of building up to the match for Penta defending his Intercontinental Championship against Dominik Mysterio because Dom lost it last week due to Finn Balor. They do that little hype package. They go straight to after the hype package is done. After the hype package is done, you got the Usos getting ready for their tag team match against Division, which is Theory and Paul. So they're up there in the crowd doing their entrance, and then they do their little thing for like a minute, and then it goes to commercial. Why are we having our tag team champions getting a commercial entrance is beyond me. Because to be honest, the pacing was fine. I just don't feel like there was no reason for doing that many uh commercial entrances. Very weird. And it's still very weird how you got the Usos coming out to Jay's theme and not their own. That I don't get. So you got the Vision coming out after commercial, and they're doing their match. The match is fine. I'm not going to go into detail about it. I'm not. That I don't know. It would take a bit for me to take notes about that. The match is fine, but I will talk about the finish. So it was Jey Uso. Jey Uso hits a spear on Theory. He goes to the top rope, but Logan Paul comes to try to stop him. But then out comes LA Knight. LA Knight comes out from behind. Well, no, like LA Knight's Logan Paul tries to stop Jay while he's still on the top rope. He does stop Jay, but then Jimmy Uso tries to, you know, stop him or attack him, whatever. Logan Paul counters, reverses, and throws Jimmy Uso into the post, into the ring post. And then he wants to go. Logan Paul does his usual thing. He pulls out the brass knucks. LA Knight comes out. He attacks Logan Paul, and then he hands the brass knuckles to Jey Uso, which was very interesting. Referee sees this, and then he's getting ready to. Referee sees this, but no, Jay still goes for it. He knocks out Cody Rhodes. Not Cody. What am I talking about? Cody. Good God, I'm tired. He knocks out Austin Theory, um, with the brass knucks. He knocks out Austin Theory with the brass knucks, and then Division wins. They won the match by disqualification. So they won the match by DQ, and you got like towards the entrance of the ramp, you got LA Knight, Jimmy, and Jay. They're all talking. Jimmy's cool and whatnot. He's like the middleman. LA Knight saying like, my bad and all that. But Jay, I have noticed for this episode for tonight, Jay has been acting cold. I want to say cold, not the right word, but he has been acting a lot more aggressive. Could this be the sign of a heel turn? I don't think so. But it is interesting. It actually gives Jey Uso some depth, which I think was greatly missing from Jey Uso ever since he started doing his yeet shit. So, okay, but back to the show. They're still out there at the ramp talking, and Logan Paul is trying to, I guess, comfort Theory since he got knocked the hell out. But Jay runs back into the ring. Mind you, he still has the brass knuckles in his hand, and then he lays out Logan Paul. The match was fine. It was an all right back and forth, but it's a typical TV match. You're not going to get anything exciting, but it was all right. It was an all right end to it. Now with LA Knight, I don't know what we're doing. I don't honestly. I don't know what they're doing with him. Honestly, he's in the Vision storyline, but Bronson's out. Braun Breaker's out. Brock has Oba Femi. Because I do remember there was a report going around with the possibility of Brock and LA Knight. Thank God that didn't happen. But that now brings the question: what will LA Knight miss WrestleMania? Is there anything left for LA Knight to do? Because you got the uh, Usos and the Vision. So what are we doing? What are we doing? Who knows? Maybe LA Knight. I don't know. Andre Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I could care less. That trophy doesn't mean anything. If they made it where like you get a title match, cool. But will it matter? No. So after the segment ends, they do a um I forgot the word, but they do a hype package um of what happened last week. I know the word is probably it's staring to my tongue, but I don't remember. Um, they remind everyone about what happened last week about you know Punk, Punk being old and how Roman still needs his cousins for help. That thing. I'm not gonna go into it about the whole Punk thing and Roman thing until we get to the end of the show. Once I start talking about the closure of Raw tonight, so that'll be a bit later. But yeah, they do a high package, get that thing set up. Then you got Becky Lynch. They show Becky Lynch walking backstage somewhere. It goes to commercial. And then back to commercial, we got Becky Lynch coming out to the ring. Like Becky's coming out to the ring. Oh wait, no. No, wait. I'm confused. Did I mess Oh no, never mind. I was right. I was right. So those are high package about what happened last week. It's like not high package, but a snippet. Rewind. So Becky does a promo. Becky does a promo. Um about AJ Lee, about how AJ left y'all, and like she does the whole "you people" promo that we've seen time and time again with this. Now, recap. It was a recap. That's the word. But regardless, um, she does a whole promo about AJ Lee, how she left, and she does the "you people" promo. Uh, she explains about her 10-month absence and how she Becky Lynch explains how she elevated the Women's Intercontinental Championship and how she made that title the best title in women's wrestling. Which, in my opinion, I don't like that kind of comment. I really don't, because it makes it seem like it kind of diminishes the other titles. And I get it; she's a heel, but I don't like comments like that where it diminishes the world title. It makes it seem like they don't matter. So, and she mocks about how AJ's entitled. She mocks about how AJ was gone for so long, and then she just comes right in and wins the title that she feels she does not deserve. And she brings about how her own daughter, Becky's own daughter, like is prancing around, skipping like AJ Lee, liking her song. You know, AJ Lee comes out, her theme plays, comes to the ring. Becky runs away every time. I Becky comes in. Uh, Becky runs out the ring to the crowd, and then AJ Lee grabs the mic and stands on the commentators table, the announce table. Um, she admits that Becky fights dirty, and she challenges Becky for her women's Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania to prove she's the greatest across generations of her generation, the previous generation, and the future generation, and proven to embarrass Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. Becky, um, Becky then told AJ that she fell into her trap, vowing that AJ would lose and quit after WrestleMania. Quit. She would lose and quit like after she lost at WrestleMania 11 years ago, saying how uh the WrestleMania is where the man is made, or like it's the man's home, or something like that. Match is made official, and that's the end of the segment. I like the promo. I think Becky did a really good promo tonight. I thought she was back to her old ways, and then she goes right back to the fucking wishing well, to the fucking old yeller well of, like, it's not just me saying it, it's Sports Illustrated saying, like, that shit. I don't like that because I get what it is it is a Trump joke, but it gets old. I like when Becky is the man. I like when Becky is, you know, 2019 Becky Lynch. Becky can cut a good promo. She did do a good promo tonight. It is simply just it is simply just I don't know. Her the way she does promos when she has to go back into her old ways, or her new ways rather, but still. Another issue that I have with this promo, or this segment, or actually in the feud in general, is that I don't like the fact that like you got Becky Lynch running away every time to AJ Lee. I don't get it. I think she barely did that with Maxine. Where is she? Not even on the show tonight. But hey, Becky Lynch is putting people over, That's fucking amazing. Oh well. Not really nothing to get mad about tonight, really. Nothing. But whatever. Mm. The next match for the card tonight was Javon Evans against Grayson Waller, with Kofi Kingston in Waller's corner. Why Waller is with Kofi, I don't know. I don't know if I missed something on social media, or I don't know. I don't know why Waller's there, but whatever. Javon had a good match. Starts out with a collar to elbow tie up. And some part in the match, Javon goes for a suicide dive, where Waller's outside, towards the ramp, and he, in my opinion, it looks like he goes for like he went for the dive, but it looked like he almost landed on his neck. Now I get it, Javon's talented. I get that he's athletic like that, but there's no reason to do that extra stuff for a match like for Grayson Waller. You know, not and off topic before I go on. Grayson Waller, I like him. I really thought he was going to be something, but to be honest, I really think that man is going to get released this year. That man is not lasting this company. And again, Apollo Crews is still in the company, but Grayson Waller is out. He will be out by this year. So Waller gets the win. Not Waller. Never mind. Sorry. Waller gets the lost. Actually, Javon Evans gets the win. He gets the W. The match was all right. It was still kind of slow, but it was kind of good, kind of fast paced. But it was all right. It was an all right match. And then after the match was done, WWE announces that legendary NBA champion Dennis Rodman is going to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Good for him. Good for him. I don't know anything about basketball. I don't know who Dennis Rodman is. You can shoot me. Don't. But yeah, Dennis Rodman, good for him. You know, good for him. All I know based on the clips that they showed was that he was with the NWO. He was in some segments in the NWO, kind of like how Mike Tyson was with DX, that type of stuff. Oh, Dennis. Wait, what? Never mind. So, so after the match is over, it goes to commercial, and when commercial is done, we cut to a backstage segment with Adam Pierce. Now, Adam Pierce is like in the hall. He's next to a door of um. Where is it? So after the match, it wasn't a commercial. I was wrong. I got it wrong. My information wrong. So he's like, yeah, he's outside of the door of the doctor's trainer's room, and Paul Heyman is requesting, saying that he's had a hell of a night, and how he wants him to schedule a match between the Usos and the Vision next week, and at the Madison Square Garden. And he wants to schedule it in a street fight for the tag titles. And then Adam Pearce says he'll consider it. Like, you have given me something to consider. And then Adam Pearce tells Heyman that he has to go out there, and how he still wanted to talk with Rollins. So Heyman goes out there, has his promo, and he's tired. He's just done with it. And Brock left the building. Brock he mentions how Brock is Bronson's injured. He won't be back for a while. Bronson's injured. He won't be back for a while. And then he he asked Rollins to come down to the ring and put an end to it, saying how he's having a really bad night, and asking if we can do this like men. So as he's talking, Rollins comes out from the crowd, stands on the announce table. He's still wearing the black hoodie, the mask, all that shit. Very lame, very lame. And the crowd eats that shit up. But they'll eat anything up, to be honest. But whatever. So, but the second Rollins reveals that it's him, out comes out of nowhere in between Heyman and Rollins that this was all a plan to lure um, Rollins in, confirming that he put a restraining order on Rollins. because out came the Boston police, the Boston, Massachusetts police come out, get between them, and they escort Rollins out. And as they're escorting him, you got Heyman talking crap, mentioning how, about the restraining order and how you're a stalker. And then he mentions how once you get arrested, that how how your wife is gonna have to divorce, and then they're gonna have to call Child Protective Services on uh Seth Rollins' family because of his daughter, and is saying how he would adopt his daughter. After he said that, Rollins snapped. He runs to the ring and he decks Heyman in the face, and then he gets put in handcuffs. And he basically got arrested. I like the segment, and that was the end of the segment. But like, I do like the segment. I did. I really do like the segment. It wasn't that bad. It was cool. It was uh, it was a really all right segment. I am tired of the hoodie. I am tired of the mask. I am tired of the black hoodie. I really wish Triple H could do something different. I wish, because that's all they do. Like when 3 weeks ago, or when Rollins first came back on Raw, and they did a little whole thing with like 20 different, was it 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago? It doesn't matter. But like, you got like, it felt like an inside joke in the company. They got Rollins coming out, and then he hides himself with like 20 different guys wearing the same black hoodie. And I tweeted us out about it, and I said, like, this really is like an inside joke. I'm tired of the hoodie stuff. It gets old. How can they differentiate? I don't know. Figure it out. I'm not the writer, but that's them. Overall, I like that segment. They haven't done a arresting segment in a while. I can't remember the last time they did something like that, but hey, I like it. Ashley did a bunch of, I don't know. It's cool. It's cool. It's something. It's something. You know, I like it. It doesn't feel as organic as, like, say, Stone Cold getting arrested, or Vince McMahon well, Vince getting arrested was kind of stupid. Like back 10 years ago, or was no, it was 2015. It was in December of 2015, so technically 10 years ago, but still. But like, that was the end of the segment, and so we get on to the next match of the night. We got Bailey and Valkyra versus the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane. The match is fine. I have noticed that the crowd tonight, of all the matches, they really weren't vocal of the matches, but they were vocal for the segments. I've never seen it before. Normally it's like the other way around, but like, kind of cool. So they have their match. The match is fine. It's a simple back and forth. Um, but the ending of the match, happened where Bailey does a Bailey to belly to Asuka onto the announce table, but then she sets her up on the announce table. She goes onto the barricade, attempts an elbow drop, but Kairi Sane saves Asuka. Asuka and Kairi are like staring at each other, and then Lyra Valkyra does a suicide dive from the ring, throws in Kairi into the ring, hits a what was it? Oh my god, a Nightwing? Was that it? I forgot what the finisher was called. Doesn't matter. and Lyra Valkyria gets to win. After the match happens, Lyra Valkyria and Bailey are interviewed in the middle of the ring, and then they challenge because they said that they're the best tag team in the women's division, in the women's tag division, and they challenged the women's tag team champions Lash Legend and Nia Jax for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles next week at Madison Square Garden. Man, from the entire show tonight, it really is looking like Madison Square Garden next week is going to be a packed show. Can't wait. I really can't wait. I really miss when they actually would hype you up to go see the next show. Why can't they do that all the time? Why is it every here and there? I get why they're doing it now because they're in Madison Square Garden, but like, holy fuck. Whatever. So that was the end of the segment, and then after the match, they show a Tiffany Stratton hype package of her time in NXT. This was weird. Is Tiffany going back to NXT? I hope not. That would be a demotion. I would hope not, because like whatever. I'm probably getting worried. But if they do that and they put her back in NXT, that would suck. Because like you got her last year. You got her last year beating Charlotte at WrestleMania, and then going to NXT a year later again. Not again, but going back to NXT. But I don't think it's gonna happen. I think all they did was doing it for hyping up their NXT pay per view coming up. Stand and Deliver, and then they have at the beginning of the show. I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the show, but like at the beginning of the show of Monday Night Raw as well. IShow Speed was in the building. Yeah, Speed was in the building tonight, and honestly, he felt like a glove. He's entertaining as hell. I never watched the streams. I never seen like I have seen some clips of him, but to be honest, I could care less of Speed, but still, him on Raw tonight was really fun. So he has a segment with Penta backstage, and they're talking, doing all good, and you got Dragon Lee, and then you got I show Speed saying ask Lee, uh, "Are you a dragon?" And then Speed mentions how he's a dog, which I don't know. I thought that got a chuckle out of me. That was kind of funny. That was kind of a funny segment. Could they be teasing Speed having a match? I could see it at the Rumble next year. If they if he has a match, actually no, I could see it at SummerSlam. I could see it at SummerSlam, but we'll see. But I have been seeing a lot of stuff about Speed. He is absolutely going to have a match on in the WWE. But the segment was fun. The backstage segment was fun. But then I think after commercial was done, we get back to Ultra Speed in another backstage segment with Adam Pierce. And then out comes Danhausen. Danhausen has been great has been great. It's kind of insane how over he is now because like I still remember back at the chamber, this man got booed. Now, granted, I didn't watch the chamber. I was getting married. It was on my wedding day, but it's whatever. But um, Danhausen has been great. But he has a segment with Speed and Adam Pierce, and then talking about getting most of the shares from Speed's channel, and then he says how he has 180 human followers, only to be corrected with 180 million. And then Danhausen, uh, Danhausen curses Aisha Speed. That was segment. That's it. It was funny. It was all right, but yeah, it was a funny segment. At least some comedy elements tonight. And then it goes to commentary after this, and they do a recap package. That's the word, recap package about what happened on SmackDown, where Randy Orton is explaining himself about what he why he did it and what he did, and of all what he did on SmackDown with Matt Cardona, where he practically broke his arm. That's it. That was that was that one of that hype package. And then after the hype package, they confirm that Cody Rhodes, um, on Wednesday is going to be he's going to be going on the Pat McAfee show for the first time since the attack, which was 2 weeks ago. What I think is going to happen is that Cody Rhodes is going to get interviewed with Pat McAfee, and then Randy Orton is going to attack Rhodes. I want some juice with this feud. I want more meat. So I want Orton to obliterate Rhodes at the show, or have him fight. Honestly, I don't care, but I at least want something like that. It would add. I don't know. I miss when uh oh shoot. I don't know. I miss when uh I miss when wrestling would do segments like that. Like bring some life to this segment, you know? I miss when, they I don't know. Like they don't do any extreme segments anymore. I really wish I could do it. They did it 2 weeks ago, but it was like tame. I don't know. I want Orton to do some insane shit. I don't know, do a home invasion angle. We haven't done that. I think the last time we seen that was LA Knight and Logan Paul. Which that was more of a comedic one than anything else, but still. I just think we need something like that. I think we need it back, and I think it will make I don't know, some feuds better, but there hasn't been a feud that has been called for it since Punk and Roman. Not Punk and Roman. Punk and Drew. I didn't even do it then. But that would have been cool. So after that, when commentary confirms about Cody Rhodes, it goes to a backstage segment again with the Kabuki Warriors, where Asuka is blaming Kyrie for the loss, saying how it is her fault. One thing I have loved about this entire story with these two, I don't know when the payoff's gonna happen, but the one thing I have loved about the story is that Kyrie has done an amazing job, like portraying her emotional damage. Like she looks so distressed, so like destroyed because of Asuka's abuse. It's great character work. She has done a great job of it, and I can't wait for the payoff. I really can't wait. I hope they strike while the iron is hot. Because I think if they need to do segments, then they need to do more segments of these. That way, the crowd can feel sympathy. Because if they just do a segment like this and then they don't follow it up next week, the iron is still going to be cold. Keep it warm. Add more fire to it. Put more to it. Have it more on screen next week. That way you can get people to feel sympathy for Kyrie. Keep it going. Don't have them off of TV for next week and then do it again 2 weeks later. It'll be lame. So after that, Oscar walks away. Kyrie's left alone, but then Io Sky comes out saying how Kyrie deserves better. And then you can see that Kyrie is like just hurt. And then Oscar yells for Kyrie. Kyrie walks away out of the shot. And then Raquel Rodriguez comes out from behind her, from behind Io, and they talk about what happened last week. I did not see what happened last week with Stephanie Vakir. I don't know what happened. I really don't know. But all she said was that if it wasn't for Io, she would have gotten what Stephanie Vakir got. So Stephanie Vakir challenges Io Sky to a match next week. One thing that's real funny though is that the crowd, including me, it was very funny. The crowd, including me, gave like a big reaction to the height difference. But now that I think about it, Raquel Rodriguez is clearly wearing heels. I don't think she's that tall because holy shit, she is towering over Io Sky. I don't know, I just thought it was funny. Then after the segment, it cuts to Dominik Mysterio doing his entrance, coming out for his match for the IC title against Penta, and he comes out with Liv Morgan. But as he's coming out, Stephanie Vakir comes from behind and attacks Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan gets back up. Well, no, like Dom tries getting Vakir off of Liv. She strikes Dom, and then Liv and Vakir fight it off into the backstage. I thought the fighting was pretty good. I thought the brawl was pretty violent. It looked very violent, and I liked it. I liked it. You got Liv slamming Vakir's head against the wall, throwing her against some chairs, and then you got Vakir literally doing a spine buster on Liv Morgan onto the ground, not on the ring ground, but on the ground, which was pretty sick. And then that segment ends, and it goes to commercial. They gave my boy Dom Mysterio a commercial entrance. What are we doing? What are we doing? Like you give your tag champs the commercial entrance. You give Dominik Mysterio, the challenger to the Intercontinental Champion Penta. I don't know. It's funny. I've been noticing a lot about that tonight. So Penta comes out. He has an insane amount of pyro, probably more than Cody Rhodes, which probably most of the budget is going is the Penta's entrance. Oh my god. So they have the match. And I'm not going to go into a Dom match. I really am not because they're all the same. Here's my thing I noticed about with Dom. Dominik Mysterio. Dominik Mysterio has he doesn't really do he did not do anything tonight. And he doesn't do anything for the other matches as well. Penta got majority of the offense in, which doesn't make sense when Dom is the heel. For the first, the granted at the beginning of the match, Dom did go on the offensive, but it was still very little. The thing is with Dominik Mysterio matches is that he does very little in the ring. He does barely any offense. And they do the same, and I mean the same setup with him. Someone from Judgment Day distracts Dom's opponent. He does a drop kick for the 619. He does a 619, and then he does a splash. So Penta throughout the match was getting most of the offense in. Penta got some moves in here and there, but still wasn't enough. But then after, like I said about, you got JD McDonough who's out there. He distracts Penta. Dom does a drop kick, 619. He goes to the top rope, and out comes Finn Balor. And Finn Balor is coming out with his old theme. I am very happy about that. I don't know if he still had it because I still remember he did that theme only with when he fought CM Punk in Ireland, which was like a month ago. But hey, I ain't complaining. So Jaden McDonough runs up to the ramp to attack Balor. Balor counters, and then he throws him over to somewhere to the side on the stage. Then Dom goes for a splash. Penta reverses, goes for a roll up. 1, 2, 3. Penta retains. Cool. I'm glad. Because the one thing I was afraid of was that Dom would have won for one reason only. I was afraid he was gonna win because I thought like they were gonna pull a thing where Dom and Finn Balor needs a title, but they didn't do that. Thank God. So after the win, Balor runs into the ring. Dom's there, and he pulls him. Dom tries to crawl away. He tries to escape the ring, but it's too late. Balor grabs Dom, pulls him aside, does some attacks, throws him to the corner. He does a shotgun drop kick, and he tries to go for a coup de grace. But then JD McDonough comes back, and saves saves Dom by pulling him from the ring, from under the ropes. And Balor goes and attacks JD McDonough again. He hits a shotgun dropkick on JD McDonough. And mind you, Dominik Mysterio ran away and he's sitting in the crowd watching this unfold. He's not coming in to save JD. Nothing. Balor hits a coup de grace onto JD McDonough. And uh that's the segment. Now on to our main event. On to the closure of the show. CM Punk and Roman Reigns. So at the start of the segment, for this entire part, before Punk comes out to the ring, and he's still in the backstage. Like he's still in the backstage. Um, he Jimmy Uso is there waiting for him, and he tells CM Punk. He tells Punk that Jey Uso's on a warpath. His brother's on a warpath. Um, Punk comes into the ring, comes in the middle of the ring, and he repeats the same shit he's been saying. How the Roman needs help still with the Usos. And Punk admits, and he's proud of it, that how he's old, of how Roman mentioned how he's old. He felt that Roman disrespected him because of, the whole disrespect your elders thing. I still don't like the fact that it was him being called old is what made him snap. They never had Punk mention Larry. They did have Punk mention AJ Lee, but that didn't make him snap. It was him being old. He as he was called as he address how Roman called him old. He was proud to be called old, saying how he keeps his gray beard and stuff, and saying how Roman gets like I don't know what thing I forgot what it was called. I forgot what Punk said it, but like something for men that you can put on your beard to make your beard gray or black, not gray, make it black. That we don't appear old. And then he offered to fight the Punk. He feels better than ever as the best in the world, and he offered to fight every Samoan in Boston. Jey Uso, Jey Uso interrupts Punk, but Punk is still talking on the mic while Uso's Jey Uso's theme is still playing, and Jey Uso is not eating. He's not doing all that. He's like, all black, black tank top, all that. He's pissed. Jay comes in. He comes to the ring, and he's again uh pissed. Hold on. Jay comes in. He's again pissed about Punk getting like talking shit about his family. That all he does is just talk shit and run his mouth. And then Punk brings up the fact that Jey Uso never got his rematch back that he rightfully deserved. Jay never got his rematch back. Another thing to mention was that earlier, I forgot to mention, was that earlier before Jay came out, you got Punk mentioning uh, there's people who has treated him not with respect, but you know, as a threat or something like that. He mentions about Gunther. He mentions how he's never lost to Gunther. He mentions that Jey Uso has never gotten his win. Roman Reigns, yeah, I don't think Punk mentioned this, but still, Roman has not beaten Punk one on one. Punk has, I think. Well, like was like 2014, 2013 when it happened. Sorry. So so after went back to what I was saying about earlier with Jay and Punk. When Punk brings up about the rematch that Jay never got, he then he then said that we'll do it right here right now. He's not dressed or anything, but like we'll do it right here right now in Boston. He takes off the belt, drops it in the on the floor between them, and they got Jim Uso coming out, trying to talk some sense about uh to Jay, saying how that we got to focus on the tag titles, and that like how Jey Uso gets too emotional, he gets too heated, he doesn't think. So Jey Uso, he gets there. Jey Uso gets like they go back and forth about it. Jey Uso explains to Jimmy how he's not worried about the tag titles, he's worried about Punk. Because Punk talk shit about his family and how that we are involved. Then out comes Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns comes in. He comes out. He comes down the ramp, enters the ring. Silence for a couple of seconds. Same typical stuff. Same typical aura farming bull. Whatever. He finally speaks, but he doesn't speak about Punk. He speaks about the Usos, about how they lost their tag titles. Not their tag title, but their tag team match. You got Jimmy saying like, "Yep," and then Roman asks like, "The match is done," and he's like, "Yep." And then Roman's mentioned, "I'm gonna say as respectfully as possible. Get out, get out of my ring." and then Punk comes in and practically antagonizes the whole bloodline. He rage he rage baits them. Jay has enough. He snaps. He comes in and uh, but Punk replies. Not replies. Punk reverses the attack. He decks Jay in the face. Jimmy comes in, tries to hold Punk down, but then Roman gets sees an opening and he goes for a Superman punch on Punk, and Punk is laid out on the ground. And then after that, a bunch of officials. Adam Pearce comes out of the ring, tries to separate everyone. Jimmy pulls Jay out the ring. Roman's still in the ring, and then something weird happened. Something very weird happened that I noticed. Is that Jey Uso was telling Roman to take him out, to take him down. Jey Uso was ordering Roman Reigns to take out Punk. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because Corey Graves, the commentator, one of the commentators, was mentioning this. Is this going to be a different take of Jey Uso? Is Jey Uso going to turn on Roman? Possibly. Because Roman does listen to Jey. He spears the hell out of Punk. And then he throws Punk to the outside of the ring. He throws him to the ring post. And then he gets him up into a power bomb position. And he power bombs him through the announce table. The whole thing shatters into the ground. And then you got Punk grabbing, not Punk. You got Roman grabbing Punk's jacket, his hoodie, and then like he's talking shit, saying how like you think you're in my head and all that. And Roman walks away, but then the show closes with the camera panning to Punk, and you got Punk laughing, saying that like Punk is laughing even though he's hurt. And then the show ends with Roman Reigns walking away. Honestly, not a bad show tonight. Not a bad show. The matches were fine. I think there was way too many commercials, but there was a lot of story going on tonight. There was a lot of story tonight. The Kabuki Warriors, Bailey and Lyra for the tag titles next week. Dom and Balor, Dom and Balor, Roman and Punk, Jay Uso's character tonight, Brock and Oba, Rollins and Punk, Becky and AJ. Overall, it was a good show tonight. It was more story focused, and honestly, I kind of liked it. It progressed stories along. It didn't feel like it was at a pause, which I'm very happy about. Raw tonight was a pretty good episode, and I'm very happy that tonight this tonight being my first episode of the show of the Squared Mat podcast. I am very happy, very happy. So the thing is I don't know where we go from here for the story because WrestleMania is 3 weeks away. What do we do? How do we progress more of the Punk and Roman feud with only 3 weeks remaining? Do we have Punk? There's going to be a brawl. I think they're going to do a brawl next week. They're better. The story's doing good. It is. It's picking up. and I'm very happy about it because it was getting bad at the beginning. But it's picking up, and I think there's still a chance to salvage this story, this feud, because mind you, Punk and Roman is main eventing night 2. There's no way in hell Cody and Orton is main eventing night 1. Overall, tonight was good. It was a good show. And that is about all I have today, folks. That's about all I have. I did my best about reviewing the show for my first episode. If you want to share what you think, please sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the Squared Mat Podcast. I'll be sure to give you my own personal review to every Raw, SmackDown, and every WWE PLE going forward. This will be the start of a brand new channel, of a brand new future, and I'm very happy and proud of this being my first episode. I think I did good tonight. So please, I know I'll repeat it again, but please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share if you want to. Share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with whoever. I don't know, your freaking gym teacher, whatever. Who cares? I'll see you all. Stay safe out there. God bless.